Greetings, my friends. This is Gilles Monsillon. I wanted to wish you a good day. I hope this video finds you very well, in good spirit as well. I haven't communicated for a few days because I've been traveling. I'm now in Toulouse at a friend, and it's been a long journey, so I needed to get acclimated. So I thank you very much for your support, for your donations, and also I thank you very much for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and for your presence, for your continuing. Effort to bring you back to your true self, your God self, your connection to your soul and spirit. I do recognize it is a great privilege for me now, after so many years of work, to be able to always receive answers from the Creator and all the Godheads and connected to all the spiritual realm. This is such a wonderful gift, and that is the greatest wealth you can ever. Sometimes I was complaining about my physical situation, although I know that there's going to be great liberation and abundance in the physical plane. My greatest wealth, my greatest treasure is my connection to the Creator. And we all have the Creator within, so it's just a matter of being patient enough to allow the Creator to work on us, to bring us back to the alignment of this pure alignment. And so it is a great gift and a great, because there is nothing more powerful, because it is an eternal gift. Once we connect to the Creator, we'll never be separated, because we've been living in an unreal reality, believing that we can exist outside of God, outside of the law of God, outside. It's a complete illusion. We've used our Creator power to create this separation, to create those games of the ego and the earth stage and the play. So, but now we need to reconnect to infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence is the source of who we are, and it is always around us. We just need to hear behind the saddle. Behind there is all the words and communication of the surface, but within each being there is this presence of God. Once we are aware of it, this presence of God will be used, all materials, all human instruments, and to communicate with you, to mirror you. But the mirror has to be clean. You have to clean up your mirror to see the goodness of that which is related to you, just as the windows needs to be clear so you can look into other dimension. So the idea is to always rearrange your energy so so there is a positive outcome. It was Marcus Aurelius, the great philosopher, Roman emperor, the sovereign, is the model of Plato's Republic, the king philosopher, and he was saying that you have absolutely no power over external event, but you have all the power within your mind. So your responsibility to find the control, the dominion within your mind, so that you can discover great new strengths, and then things can change on the outside. So have always positive expectation, be optimistic. I would recommend, although the Stoic would say just prepare for the worst, I would say prepare for the best, always. And because even if there is, when you're very determined into wanting to experience something, there will be obstacles along the way, there will be failures, there will be delays, and that is a test for the stamina to be able to have enough determination to overcome obstacles. Otherwise, it's like, because we never fail because of an obstacle, we fail because our soul is too weak to overcome it. But those big obstacles that looks like mountains in front of us are just gravel, and once we pass, we went beyond it, and we look back on the road, it's just gravel, they're no longer mountains. So it's all a matter of try to understand why our soul is bringing us this experience, and work with your soul to create this new life for yourself. For life is relentless. The God, the Creator, will always be successful in all he does, but he works in silence, he works very slowly, he works very constantly, and to move into this flow of divine energy that is always so constant, always silent. For God operates, everything is done, yet there is no, it's very mysterious. So it's just a matter of alignment. But we got to get used to living in the light, living in the love, living in the presence, to accustom ourselves to this, is returning to the heart, the flow of love. Which means also light and lucidity. It's like a love, not a naive love. It's like it's like there is all the darkness that is coming up right now. So it's like just bring light into it through send violet fire into it, and send your love and light to anchor into the earth. For as soon as we activate our Earth star below our feet inside the Earth, our connection to the planet, that activates our soul star as well, and then all the chakras are being elevated. So it's moving into a fluid situation and develop perspicacity. So it's like the consciousness eventually becomes much more fluid and receptive, and there is no limit to the evolution of consciousness, because consciousness on the evolutionary scale, this primal origin in the infinite spirit, and the infinite spirit is the ancestor of the great Mother Spirit of the universe. And I recommend you invite the Mother Spirit, the Holy Spirit in your heart. She will bring healing, she will bring satisfaction, she will bring fulfillment, but she needs to be invited. This divine eternal feminine needs to be restored. And for there's countless situations that are always presented within our mind, and it's always about it's a test. There's like at first there is a lot of tests. What is the highest perspective you can perceive from what you've been exposed to, and then when you don't know, and just breathe, ask for guidance. It's all a dance with the spiritual world. Understand God loves all the sinners, but He does not love sins. And so it's just position yourself in a way that that is progressive rather than following. There is a whole digressive flow as well that is going on when you in the matrix, for instance, that is going to be completely, it's a boat that is sinking, it's going to sink lower and lower and lower. So just do not even pay attention. Create a parallel reality. For if you connect to God within yourself, then paradise will emerge with outside. It's inevitable. God cannot live outside of paradise. And so you want to create a paradise energy, a connection to God and paradise energy for yourself. Some people have already achieved that. Well, they may still have work to do on their own personal level, but and then you want to create a vision that opens this dream, this vision for the paradise for all being on the planet. That you envision the planet to be already ascended with all beings living in joy and creativity, having it all. And so it is important, even though you can already project in the quantum field, so you can test and sense, go into the future, as to go in the 1,000 years into the future, you will see the earth is completely different. Then you bring back this energy. Even if you return to the chaos of those times, you have a double life where you live with God within yourself, in connection with your guides and angels and the company of heaven, and still having to enjoy this physical world. We came here to enjoy. There's been a great test, but the time of enjoyment is going to be coming. I'm sharing what my heart is saying. I'm getting a lot of pépites, the little chunks of gold. It's like sometimes you're like a miner, a gold miner, and you're looking for this big vein of gold, like the big piece. But then you only find the little pieces. But the little pieces are really good. Take the little pieces, because everything that is not appropriate to your mission right now will be hidden. Everything that you need when you tune into the spirit, you get everything you need at each moment when you need it. Because if you receive information before the time where it's appropriate, you would interfere with our evolution process. So accept that all the information will be there at the right moment. And rather than seeking more and more and more information, seek more alignment and flow. And personally, I'm asking God to always be very close to me. God is everywhere and in everything, but that His consciousness always surrounds me, always frame me, always guide me, always show me, always inspire me. It's like, and all your guides are always also within that frequency of the Creator. They already know that. What we ask is for a simple and spiritual life that is simple and spiritual, and in all circumstances, and to be present. And for my guidance and spirits have always been preparing me for this great freedom and sovereignty, and to move into this royal way of the Creator. But there was a lot of resistance from conditioning. We all have resistance from conditioning. This happy 4th of July for the Americans who are listening to me. I love America. I will soon be returning. Spirit is really really eager for me to be back in America. I lived there 20 years. I have many friends and family. And it's really the Independence Day for the whole planet, in truth. The whole planet has been liberated from all kinds of negative influences from the cosmos, also negative civilization. And there has been even a great deal, a fleet of new fleets are arriving in the solar system every day. And there's this big fleet that arrived from Sirius recently. We will send them, we welcome them, send greetings, and looking forward to our continuous effort to work together towards the liberation of the planet. And we are aligning right now with this star Sirius. It's a bright star. It is a spiritual, very spiritual energy. And on the 8/8 portal Lion's Gate, it's going to be on full alignment. And every year, those portals are becoming stronger and more powerful because we're getting more sensitive to it as well, to those higher frequency. So we want to be sovereign over our mind and to have dominion over our lower ego. Because whenever somebody gets agitated, in whichever form it is, because astral entities are seeing vulnerability and they're gonna we have a source of food. It's like they're hunting for food. Somebody he has fear, he has anger, he has hatred. Boom! We're gonna milk that. So just do not allow that. Just breathe and return to center whenever you. Do not let those negative thoughts take too much rhythm, because after that you have to deal with them. So try to stop them before 17 seconds. And so we want to discover new strengths and new empowerment. Power is all about power, not power of the ego, but power of allowing the highest vision to manifest for us in our life and the life of others, and to influence others in that direction. For all problems were created in the mind. A tree doesn't have problems. He's going to find his water. He's going to find his light. He's not creating problems for the other tree. He doesn't need to dominate other trees. Doesn't need. Well, sometimes a bigger tree will take more resources, but it's all part of the process. There is a balance in nature. Nature is an amazing model of reality. It is not God, but it is God minus all of the experiences of time. But there is great power, divine power within nature that needs to also. They're reconnecting to higher frequencies of themselves, the elementals, all them. So just work with them, work with nature, work with life. We're in the service of life as a whole. Life is the partner of God in the universe. It is a beautiful entity that is omnipresent everywhere, and it's like. Our mission is to evolve life, and it is the primary soulmate of the creator. That's in the assistance of that. Sometimes life is asking the creator, please help, and so the creator say, of course, it helps. But so master your mind, and then just find the balance on your emotional. Don't try to go too high on the emotion, because whenever you go very high on the emotional level, there will be a very low that will be followed. So just work more, because the emotion come from the belly, and they're not they are responsive to the thoughts we have. When the feeling states come from the heart, and the feeling state can elevate us. Outside, it has nothing to do with the emotion, but it will also heal. It is through the emotional body that the feeling state will be able to rise as consciousness. And because there is a great conspiracy in the spirit realm, the God and all the spirits, to bring us back to the fulfillment of our freedom. And they've been conspiring ever since this world fell into darkness, to conspire to liberate the planet. So just trust that, and everybody's led to the 0 point, but it will take a couple of centuries before all beings have achieved. But we're here, and we were prepared in advance. We're going to find our ascension, our part of freedom, way before of humanity, so that once we have achieved this connection, there are millions of us, you, me, and many others on the physical plane, human beings, have integrated that, then we'll be there to assist the rest of humanity. A lot of humans have not had those galactic connections. They've been evolving and growing on the Earth, so they're not as familiar with that. But us, as coming from the star, the higher planes, we have all those connections, and we're here to assist others and opening their mind to the possibility of creating these connections. For the ego will always want to defend its position, and it will always want to defend the reason, find reason to accept why the trauma is important, why the victim mentality is inevitable, why the conflict are inevitable. So it requires a lot of humility to let go of all that, and trust that the spirit knows, and knows you're worth it, and even if no one else sees it, then the spirit knows. God, in the Quran, God has said, God knows what's going on within the chest of human beings. At the time, they didn't know they had a heart, so he explaining that, and everything is a challenge, but every challenge is an opportunity to prove that we have grown and we have evolved. Right? It was Seneca, the philosopher, that was saying that. And in order to connect to the higher dimension, it's not in agitation or in action, it is in relaxation and in silence. Letting go of expectation, we have to demonstrate our compassion through the experience as well. Compassion, lucidity, and courage. Those are the three cornerstones. For everybody's waiting for the mass landing and the solar flash, but focus on your inner self instead, preparing your physical vehicle, because when the solar flash comes, a lot of people are going to realize they're not prepared for this. And when the extraterrestrial come, if it's just a mental process of ego separation, external being from other space, they won't be able to communicate, because it comes from the heart to heart, from one to one, from the creator being to another creator being, and eventually on the humans will become galactic beings. They will recognize their divinity and become galactic beings. And so, but we're very close to a lot with a major chaos situation. So we want to stay close enough to the chaos so we can assist others, but not close enough to be pulled into it. So it's a fine line. We'll trust to call on your guide to reinforce you, or your creator, or your archangels, your angels. I discovered that because of my birth number, my archangel is Ariel, the beautiful Ariel, the archangel of miracle. I've been working with her, but I didn't know she was. I've been working a lot with Michael and Raphael and Gabriel and Metatron, and Sandalphon also is one of my. I haven't really worked. I haven't even ever made contact with this amazing master. I'm sure I will eventually. But Metatron, I'm pretty familiar with him, and but they're all familiar with us, which is important. And they do not have a judgment upon us, so just be light about it. It's just do not. Because there is the sacred and there is the profane, but the profane is profane because we do not see the sacred in the profane. The material is material, but it comes from spirit, and it needs to return to spirit. So within the spiritual ascension, the spiritual way is the material realm. There is no separation between matter and spirit. Once we achieve that, we find a great deal more freedom, finding ease and comfort in each situation. And because we've been serving the light for time immemorial, before this universe even existed, we were already in the service of the light, and the Akash is opening. We're starting to remember all kinds of things, or if not yet, we will, I'm sure. When you're ready, your soul, your spirit, your guides will show you different things, and just be open. You have to stay open to your intuition, pay attention to all the signs and everything that life is telling you. Sometimes you can accept or reject. Whatever comes into your mind, you accept it or reject it. You don't have to accept all things that come into your mind. They're just proposition. But then the choice you make in relationship to what you choose to accept as a determining factor into what the next thoughts will lead you. And well, it depends on, of course, the spirit deals on our level. But God works silently, so just learn to work from within and to live, to return to the living presence of the Creator, which is the reality, and let go of all this external illusion. So that was I wanted to share with you today. I hope this message was interesting. I'm going to pull a few cards to see the card of the day first. I'm going to proceed with that. The card of the day is the faithful heart. So it's like those wisdom, and so it's like be true to yourself, be true to those you love, be true to your mission, be true to your Creator, and prepare yourself for what you've been asking for. Then I'm gonna put a few cards. I'm gonna sing a song as usual. I'm receiving information that actually blows my mind. I would say, but every day the Spirit is communicating some things to me. This is just little piece of information that completely blow my mind. This is just so amazing. The observer of the day is victory, success. It is the tiger of fear conquered. the highest wisdom is sorrow, to go beyond, to feel the sorrow and then move beyond, to evolve, to grow, to move forward, but to feel it if necessary. What we need to understand is the intensity of the new energy, the intensity of love, the intensity of light. What we need to do is to be the sun, to be the innocence, to be the power, the center of power, to assume the responsibility of the whole creation, which is yet knowing that your choice is really what you're responsible of. Somebody else's choice is their responsibility. And then the outcome is like maybe to be pulled into different directions. So it's like, because there are paradoxes. So I'm working with this goddess Hera. She came to me. It's a goddess of family and home, and she's trying to assist me, because I'm having paradoxal timelines it's like living in two timelines. It's very hard to conceal those two timelines, so I'm asking her to assist me with that, and I'm sure it will work out at the end. Once we confront this sorrow, we find we are the world, we find true wells, inner wells, outer wells, connection, sharing. From within the intensity of love, we'll find we have to understand how to bring all those energy into harmony, satiety. From the sun, there is nothing to say about the sun. The sun is God. It's like there is on the physical plane. The representative is what's closest the representation of God. It gives light and love and heat to all being, and doesn't ask for anything from anyone. And so there is the Logos. There is the Father, Mother, God of our solar system, Helios and Vesta. They may be easier for you want to invite the Divine Mother, the Sophia, the universal spirit in your heart. But when you connect on the physical plane to the sun, no, there is the Divine Feminine, the Vesta, the Estia, the goddess of purity, that's a solar logo, and Helios, who's also the masculine solar logo. They are the solar parents of our universe, and work with them. And in terms of, eventually, we in order to this, when we don't know what direction to take, if we want to go right or left, or we want to go, is to follow the inner guidance, is the intuition, the inner voice. The inner voice will guide you, because at some point, sometimes it's worth exploring a direction, and then at some point we have to let it go to explore another direction. But then again, when at some point we need to return to explore, the spirit will find a way to work with all our energies. Just as when you come into a relationship, intimate relationship, we have to accept the person with all the energies. Because sometimes people say, well, I like that, but I don't like that. So you have to accept the whole thing. Accept the whole thing about yourself. For acceptation is very essential to the ability to move beyond. Accepting even limitation, even the ego, even accepting our dark side, our human side, our ignorant side. It has to be loved, and the love is really what we need to, because our divine side doesn't, not that it doesn't need love, but it is love. So it's like it is our human self, our human aspect, our human body, our human consciousness, our human ego, our human emotion. That all of this needs to fuse into the love from the higher plane. We need to incarnate both the divine and the humans, to be the blend, to be those beings. And because even the human is a blend being between all kinds of galactic genetic traits we have within ourselves. So it's going to be very exciting. It is already. I'm going to finish with a song, and thank you very much. I'm going to finish with this song. That's an old song. It's called Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. the sun, with no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Wonderful song. Well, I'm going to finish with a few cards, from the angels to thank my guardian angel. I thank all the angels. I want to continue to work with them. I employ them a lot. I send them in many situations. Sometimes I see a problem somewhere. I say, well, I'm going to send my light, but could you please send an angel there to oversee that, because there is a concern, also just to delegate, to learn to work with the invisible plane, the invisible world. As we ask, we receive. And to become the God of you, to become the sovereign self. So the observer of the day is the light. There is this great observer of the light. It's the light. The light is the observer. Always having there is always silent observer behind whatever level. What we need to understand, the highest wisdom is humility. Stay humble. There is no need. We cannot be higher than anybody else. We're only one, though this cannot be higher. So we just remain where we are. Not too humble in the front where we diminish the value of our presence, but humble enough to not to want to dominate anyone or anything, to just continue to dominate your own mind. And in the modesty, which is humility, modesty is the hexagram number 15 in the I Ching. And it says things are easy for a modest person. It's easier when you accept the life that is simple and spiritual. If you have a lot of complex demand just to be a minimum of happiness, then it's more complicated. So find pleasure in small things. What we need to understand is compassion, to love ourselves, and to do good in the world. We're here to serve life, like I said. Well, not everybody, but for me, it's been a long process of evolution to find new level, increasing level of service. For service, we'll continue to, as we ascend, we'll continue to learn new level of service. What we need to do is rest, relaxation, vacation. There's like great vacations that are in the works. I feel it coming. I know it's coming. And the outcome will be joy. Joy is the highest function, is the fuel of evolution in the higher plane. Everybody lives in joy, and through joy, and we're able to share joy and bring joy to other people. Joy that is not conditioned by some external circumstances, but joy that springs from the heart. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Salat.